Well, well, well. Shopping for a car?
Yep, Carvana made financing a car as smooth as can be.
Oh, yeah?
I got pre-qualified instantly and had real terms personalized just for me.
Doesn't get much smoother than that.
Well, I got to browse thousands of car options on Carvana, all within my budget.
Doesn't get much smoother than that.
It does. I actually wanted a car that seemed out of my range, but I was able to add a cosigner and found my dream car.
It doesn't get much...
Oh, it gets smoother. It's getting delivered tomorrow.
Visit Carvana.com or download the app to get pre-qualified today.
This is the smell of the leftover tuna fish sandwich you left in your lunchbox over the weekend in a wimpy trash bag.
Wimpy, wimpy, wimpy!
Blech! And this is the smell of that same sandwich in a hefty, ultra-strong trash bag.
Hefty, hefty, hefty!
Ah, smell the difference? Hefty Ultra Strong has Arm & Hammer with continuous odor control, so no matter what's inside your trash, you can stay one step ahead of stinky. And for bigger jobs, try the superior strength of Hefty Large Black Bags.
All right, part 4 is upon us. This is it. This is the last one of the series. Had a lot of fun with Jenn. I want to thank her from the bottom of my heart for getting on here with me. Really gave us a bunch of information. I learned a lot personally, and I hope you did too. In this episode, you're going to see, she asked me a question between 2 episodes that we were taping, and I didn't know exactly how I should answer it. I didn't know which way she wanted me to go with it. So I answered it from my heart. Check it out.
And the milestone is not about, I'll be happy when I get here, right? It's not about like, oh my gosh, then I'll be great. It's about like, okay, what am I going to commit to for the next season of my life that's going to help me live a richer experience?
All right, so we've made it to part 4. We're going to wrap it up. We're going to put a bow on it for you here. Jenn's back. We're going to be talking about the future. Mm-hmm. You know, what changes we can make. What can we learn from our past? And let's start off on a brand new journey. Take what we've learned and let's move on to the future. So Jenn, glad to have you back. We're here at the end. I wish it wasn't over. I wish, we could just continue this going. But we're going to get into some stuff in the future as well, other podcasts, other episodes, but kind of lead us off with what's the kind of the final message that we need to take, and we can jump from here. This is our new stepping stone. This is where we're going to start our new relationship with ourselves, our new relationship with our students or our athletes. What's a good starting point to where we can wrap everything up and go from there?
Okay. So I'm going to let the audience in on a little behind the scenes. So between last episode and this episode, I asked Tyler, I said, well, he's like, what do you want to do with this final episode? I'm like, well, I said, what's the quote unquote selfish question? Like, what's the thing that you want to know for you? And I'll share with you where that question came from. So if you've ever heard of Gary Vaynerchuk, he's big in teaching people online marketing and stuff like that. He's very popular, written a bunch of books.
That name is familiar.
He's very popular in people who do online videos, podcasts, that kind of stuff.
Okay. I think that's maybe where I've seen him.
You probably, and for those of you who don't know, all you need to know is that one day he's going to buy the Jets football team. Okay. But a very successful guy, puts his heart out there in social media and whatnot, has for many, many years. And I had the opportunity to interview him, but the catch was I could only ask him one question. And I would put I'm like, one question to ask this person that I idolized, right? Like there's not many people where I like, oh my gosh, this is a big deal. Because people are people. But I was like, okay, this is a big deal. So what question am I going to ask him? And I asked him, I said, Gary, what's the question that people don't ask that they should ask you? Right? Like, I want to know what the right question was to ask.
Right.
And he said, people don't ask the specific question, meaning people try to ask the question that sounds smart. They try to ask the question that's going to serve the room, ask the question they think they should ask, but they don't ask the specific question that says, here's where I am right now, and here's where I want to be, right? That question that I asked and the answer that I got totally changed how I relate to asking questions. So that's why I asked you, Tyler, between the episodes. I didn't tell you that. I was like, what's your selfish question? What's the question you want to know? And I loved your question, and I want to share it here. He said, well, now, like, how do I continue to grow my relationship with my athletes? So I think the first thing that we all need to do in order to move forward and look at the future is we need to do that baseline GPS. It's the same thing. Where am I? And where do I want to be? And the way that I do that, I have a framework, which is relationships, impact, career, hobby is energy and spirit. So I have my GPS model. And if you guys, I'm sure we can put something in the show notes or link in the description somewhere where people can come and get more information on that. But
Absolutely.
like the first thing you need to know if you're going to start a new journey is, where am I now? Right? And where am I going? Let's reflect on how far I've come. And then let's create a new milestone. And the milestone is not about, I'll be happy when I get here, right? It's not about like, oh my gosh, then I'll be great. It's about like, okay, what am I going to commit to for the next season of my life that's going to help me live a richer experience, right? So I would love to talk about that with you, Tyler, but I'm going to ask the question back to you. Like right now, pick a category: relationship, impact, career, hobbies, energy, right? Pick any category you want. Where are you now and where do you want to be? And then we'll do a little game with each other.
Right now, I guess I'm in the infancy stages of growing my platform for others to get their message out and to impact as many as they can. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I don't know where I want to be with it. I mean, I could selfishly say I want to be as big as possible. I want to be the biggest influencer. But I also know I have to stay within my means because I have other things that I'm doing in life. I have a wife, I have 3 daughters, I have commitments. Mm-hmm. So I would like to be right where I'm at. Still talking to people like you, still talking to people that have an influence, and just continuing to do this. And I'm okay with taking it slow and letting it kind of do what it's going to do organically, and not force feeding anything, not forcing it to where it doesn't have the same message that I started this. I mean, this has been in the works for quite some time. So it's not something that just popped up. It's been this is kind of where it's gotten to. I used to just do it, whoever I was doing lessons with, whoever I was coaching, but now I had the courage to get behind the camera and ask you, hey, will you do an interview with me? Mm-hmm. And so this is where it's at. So I mean, my honest, from the heart answer is, I don't know where I want this to go. I want to continue
That's perfect. That's perfect. I want to stop you right there because we're going to play this game out because I think it matters a lot. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know is a fair answer, right? Right now, you're in the sea of dreams, right? Like, right. Because what happens is you climb a mountain and then you realize like, oh, there's another mountain to climb. Oh, there's another mountain to climb. Oh, there's another mountain to climb. And then each time there's like, okay, well, what's the landscape look like? Like, what's the map? I don't actually know. Like, maybe I don't want to climb up to the top of this mountain. Maybe I want that mountain, right? Like, and there's this decision-making process, and it's okay to like not know. And I think the big thing is like, a lot of times when we ask athletes, like, what do they want? Their answer is also, I don't know. And we're like, well, you have to know, like, what's your vision? Like, da, da, da. But when you play a video game, you do it for fun, right? Like, ultimately there's tasks that come, or there's challenges that come along the way, but you do it to see the growth. So here's the question then back to you is like, so you talked about within your means, right? I want to go, I could say I want to be as big, but I have to do it within my means. So automatically there's an assumption that there's a limit to how big you can get or how much influence you can have, because in the words you said, there's going to be a trade-off or a sacrifice, right? Mm-hmm. So the idea is like, what if there was no sacrifice, right? What if you could show up in all areas of your life and you could have as big of impact as you possibly can imagine, or even bigger than you can imagine right now? Because ultimately, like, you can only see so far up the staircase, right? Take the next step. So let me ask you this. What emotion do you want to feel as you are growing this?
Wow. I don't know if the fulfillment is an emotion. But I guess like by the generic common emotion, I want to feel joy because I'm doing what I love. And I'm trying to put out as much good information that I feel confident in being defined as good information to as many as I can.
So perfect. So what we're doing right now is we're defining your North Star. That's all. You're in the ocean, right? You don't know, you're having a great time. You're surfing the waves. Like, this is a great time. This is fun. I know I'm climbing a mountain. I know that's where you're going, but you don't know what it looks like. But what you do know is the North Star is joy, right? And that fulfillment brings you that joy. is what I heard, to do the short version of it, right? So now you know that if you're not feeling joy, that's just a signal. It's an indicator for you that you may be off path. It may be off track. It's not something wrong. It's just the dashboard lighting up saying, check your oil. Hey, your front left tire is empty. So instead of running away from the things that don't bring us joy, we're like, what is it about this part of the experience that isn't bringing me joy? And what needs to change in order for me to bring more joy to it? Because if you're showing up in joy, right, when people listen to you, they're going to feel it too. Right? If you're showing up because this is a work and you like lose your enthusiasm and your light and your sparkle, like people are going to listen to that because they don't want that. So now you use joy as a North Star. Like, look, does this make me feel alive? Does reaching out to this person that's super like scary for me to reach out to and ask them, or like to put myself out there, does that make me feel alive? Will going to the other side of that bridge, will it make me feel fulfillment when I reach it? Like, will that bring me joy? Okay, cool. So you have the North Star. So bringing that back to your relationship with your daughter, right? Between the breaks, you said, okay, where do I go from here? So let's do the same thing for your relationship with your daughter. What word would you use to describe the relationship that you have with your daughter right now? Your oldest.
What word?
Yeah.
The relationship I have with my oldest is fun.
Fun. Okay.
We're both learning, and to me, it's fun.
Okay. And is there a different word that you want it to be? Like, is there another way that you want it to be experienced by you or by her?
I don't know, honestly. I mean, where we're at now compared to where we were, I didn't realize it at the time, but it wasn't fun. But what we're experiencing now is I'm enjoying raising my daughter. So I'm learning from her. She's teaching me things as well as I'm teaching her life. So she's teaching me life lessons while I'm teaching her life lessons.
So you're having fun, you know how you're doing it. And I'm imagining that based on what you said, you want to just keep having fun and continue on that journey together. Yes.
Yeah.
So then fun is the North Star. Right. And you know, then you're like, okay, well, what does a person need in order to have fun? Well, they have to have safety and security to some extent, right? Because if they don't feel like riding on a roller coaster where you're not buckled in, it actually isn't fun. It's terrifying. Right. But if you're buckled in and you know you're safe, then the roller coaster all of a sudden becomes fun. So there's this balance between variety and taking risks and all of that creates this feeling of joy and fun because they know they're safe, right? So there's always that, like, how do you create both safety, security, fun? Because they know that they're not going to, you know, they're climbing the wall, but they're not strapped in, right? So this comes back to what we talked about in segment 3, which was the journey to Legends Edge. Like, anytime you're building a team, there's layers of connection that you can build. So there's like study together, right? Like when we study something together, that brings us closer together. There's struggle together. When you go through something difficult, right? When you're like, man, that was really hard. We share our struggles. We go through that together. It brings you closer together. I think one of the most impactful is serve together, right? So when you're doing something for a purpose, like teaching others or helping others in a certain way, and you do that together and you struggle through that, figuring out how to do it, right? Then you're studying together, you're struggling together, you're serving together. That's the ultimate. And so what you mentioned in the last episode, maybe it was on the break, about you doing this new podcast, like launching this new platform, all the momentum you're gathering. I believe that you choosing to do this and go for it is the greatest gift that you can give to your kids. Because so many parents are willing to say, like, go for your dreams, go do it, but they don't model it, right? Like, and the fact that you're modeling it, whether she gets engaged with it or not, right? The more you can share about your journey and when you have a hard day or something doesn't go right, or the audio didn't come out like you wanted to, like, how do you bounce back from that, right? If you can enroll her in your mission or figure out what's important to her, right? What's the mission? Who does she want to serve? Like, that's the ultimate. And then how can you use your platform to work together, right? To where what you're doing is serving her and what she's doing is serving you. And like, it's already happening organically, right? You're telling her stories, your stories, it's already making a difference. I wonder if she recognizes how much she, as an athlete who's practicing in her garage or on the field with her dad, is already impacting the world of softball and the life of other kids her age. Because if she recognized that by showing up and just by sharing her struggles with you, and she felt comfortable in that sharing, like, that's going to give her that sense of fulfillment and joy and meaning. So like, even when she's just in her garage alone practicing, right? Her story impacts other people. And for you to be the the facilitator of that is so powerful, right? So there's multiple layers of what the opportunity you have right now for growth within Black Diamond Softball for her. And also for her to know that, like, look, if she decides to do something else, cool. Like, she can go take the things she's learning here with you and then go do something completely different. Because the lesson she's learning, the ability to climb a mountain is the ability to climb a mountain, regardless of which mountain you're climbing.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's deep. It's never been presented to me that way, that, you know, having that impact on them. You bring up seasons, and seasons change regardless. I mean, it's going to change whether they're on time or not. So you mentioned, you know, if she doesn't continue softball, but she maybe ends up doing something else, or takes this and moves on from it into something bigger and better, whatever, you know,
or just different.
Right. The impact that we have as parents, I think, you know, we drive home, whether it's lacrosse that they're playing or basketball or softball, we're on it so much that it could lead to that burning them out, and we don't even see it. We just say, hey, we're trying to make them better, we're sending them to this camp, we're taking them, you know, like you talk about, traveling all over the country and stuff, and eventually it's like, it's just not fun for them anymore. What started out picking up a ball and a bat is now going to this, and it's like, well, man, I've just done it too much, and I'm kind of spent on it. So having this with my daughter, and it's not just softball, it's, you know, there's a lot of different things that we talk about, especially with this episode, where it's just growing as athletes, but as just humans, trying to make them better humans all around. And, you know, you mentioned how we had talked about before the question, you know, what brings me joy, but that was my definition of joy, or being happy where I'm at with the relationship and stuff. If we can always, you know, kind of sit back and do like an audit, like you had mentioned, our emotions, you know, what brought us to anger, what brought us to happiness, you know, what brings me joy. If we could do that more often, I think as humans, just in general, I think we would treat each other better as a society, and we would feel better about ourselves too, because we don't really want to be mean to other people. It just comes out because of the, you know, different pressures. So I don't know.
Well, you do know. You know more than you do know. I think ultimately, like, the thing that I'm focused on right now, because I just, like, I'm going through it. I've just kind of finished one season, wrapping one up, starting another one. So right now, the next season for me is about building systems, building tools, resources, showing up in a bigger, more consistent way for parents and coaches to be able to have these conversations. I've been, like, basically, you know, I've been doing this for, call it 12 years professionally. And I've gone through many seasons in my own life during that time period. Like, you know, I went through a really difficult relationship where I was, you know, like, it was a very unhealthy, toxic relationship, if you want to call it that. But ultimately, I chose to stay in it. Ultimately, like, it taught me I had to go through that in order to value myself in a different way and to be able to find what I needed. But in that time period, I was only able to show up to a certain capacity, right? And then, like, there was a moment when I was I was speaking at the Olympic Training Institute. Okay, I was in Calgary, Canada. It was at that point one of the most significant, for me, one of the most significant presentations I was going to give. I'm walking up the stairs, like, it was right after the Winter Olympics 4 years ago. And I walked up in front of the mirror. I looked at myself in the mirror. I didn't recognize myself. I was unhealthy. I wasn't happy about how I felt about myself. And I realized, like, if I go downstairs and I go give this presentation and I'm not living it, they're never going to hear what I say. Right. Like, it's how you live. It's not the words you say.
Right.
I made a commitment to myself that day in the mirror. I was like, I will not go back out and do this whole tour thing again. I won't go speak until I know I'm living it and I'm congruent with the message I'm preaching. Right. So that day, it was like over 4 years ago now, I made a decision. I started a new sport, started training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I competed in 30 days. So you talked about wrestling earlier. So did my first competition. I moved, I changed my relationships. Ultimately that changed to where I was living, and I moved across the country. And so now I can say that I've in depth practiced this. I've climbed multiple mountains, right? been through many, many overwhelming seas, right? Like that I know the things that I'm teaching because I've experienced how fast the transformation can happen in my own life.
Right.
And then not only for my own life, but for the people that I touch and lead. So now I realize like the only way for me to have the impact that I know I'm meant to have is to be able to teach other people like you. Like, how can you be more influential? How can you get your message out greater? How can I make sure that you can structure a presentation that gets people to say, yes, I'm ready to make that change, right? So my mission now is to create those tools for coaches and for influencers to be able to pass along to their players, because ultimately I can only impact so many kids myself. But if I can create, an army of people that are working along this mountainside, that the people that get the kids from the ocean to the beach and the beach to the jungle and through the jungle and up the mountain, now we can really build an army. And I think right now, we need that. We need young people that are confident in their skills, that, they say it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. And ultimately, the world is in a great battle right now, and in a great battle to be able to experience joy. And I want to be able to empower as many people to do that as possible. So the way that I'm doing that right now is I have a challenge coming up called Best Season Ever. And Best Season Ever is it's like we're all on the beach. Okay. Let's go to the jungle together. It's fun. It's an opportunity for coaches and athletes and parents to be able to start a new journey together. And it's a game, and there's lots of big prizes and rewards at the end. But I'm excited because for this next season, between now and the summertime, my mission is to lead as many people into that challenge as possible and help them be able to get some real results in their life. Yeah. Where they can see that they're more confident when they go up to the plate, where they can talk to their parents about things they didn't talk about, where the coach feels more confident teaching certain skills. So by the time they get to the end of the challenge, they know that they have new muscles, a new level that they can operate at to help and serve more people. So that's the number one thing I'm focusing on this next season, is get as many people to have their best season ever through the Best Season Ever challenge as possible. And I just really appreciate, one, your personal story, right? The fact that you experienced it in your own life. You were saying hey, look, I've been through this. I'm going to go out and share and help with other people. And then you didn't just think about it, you did it, and you're doing it, and you're doing it in a big way. And I just want to commend you, because that's what it takes. And so good for you, because ultimately you're going to be able to reach people that other people just can't because of who you are. So thank you. I
appreciate that. I really, honestly, the conversations you've had over the last little bit here is really impacted me in a level I can't thank you enough. I want to thank you for sharing your story. You have an interesting story. You have a very interesting background. There's so many different elements to where you're pulling from your personal experiences that reach out to so many, that you're able to communicate your message and to help people like me take our message, not knowing how to deliver it, and help someone else. And it's just like you were saying, you can only reach so many. I can only reach so many, but through a network of people like you and I are able to maybe reach someone that doesn't know that they need to be reached. They could just have this is normal, this is the way I'm supposed to feel. But who knows, we could maybe save a life, we could maybe save a relationship, we could change someone's life for the better just by you and I speaking, just by you and I talking. I know not everything we said are people going to relate to, not one person's going to be able to relate to all of it, but I can guarantee you, to the member in the audience that listened to all 4 parts of this or just one part, I guarantee you they could have grabbed something out of that and related it to their life or a situation, or at least someone they know. So now maybe it can open up a line of communication that wasn't there before.
And I'll also say, if you're listening and there's something that touched you that you want to continue the conversation on, reach out. Absolutely. So many people, they listen to podcasts, they listen very passively. And right. You reached out, Tyler, you reached out to me through a Facebook message. I didn't know who you were. I was and he reached out to me he knew me. I'm like, this is cool. We hop on the phone. I'm like, yeah, I feel like I've known you forever. And I'm I'm such a fan and I'm cheering you on, and I want to do anything I can to help you, build connections, introduce people that should be on your show, like help create opportunities for you, because like you're doing good work. So I just want to encourage people who are listening, like whatever level they're at, whether they're a brand new coach or they're leading an organization, and there's something in here that you're like, oh, I want to tack onto that, or I have a different perspective, or like here's something I'm doing that's working, or I need help with this, like reach out, because that's what we're here for.
I'm going to put all of my information down at the bottom on the YouTube side of it, so that they can click links for my stuff, and then all the stuff to get over to Jenn, all her socials or websites, whatever she's got. We're going to make sure that all her stuff is down there, so that if you want to, ask a question, a comment, more information, how to reach her, how to get to more of her content. There's so much out there that she's already got out there that it's out there for you to take. You got to go get it. So I leave my guests with this. And I wanted to make it your own. I know you got a lot of big stuff coming up. I know you got a lot of stuff going on. This next 6 months, this next year that you have going on, where can we find you? What's, your book, you talked about your book, you've got different things going on. I want to make sure we get the word out, so we're there when you're there. Okay.
The best place for everyone to go right now, because right now we are actively building a huge universe, if you will. I'm building Marvel, right? But for the real. So yeah, we have a new book coming out. We've got basically my big goal right now is I'm working towards a kind of like a reality show that follows these kinds of stories and impact. And so right now I'm casting for that over the next 6 months and whatnot. But the best place for you guys to go get started is to start with the Best Season Ever Challenge. It'll introduce you to this world. Whether you're a mental performance vet or you're just getting started and you want to be able to start engaging and like basically playing the game, right? If you want to start playing the game of how do you build mental performance and mental toughness, Best Season Ever is the best place to go. We have a new challenge launching this Friday, March 11th. So depending on when somebody's listening to this, it goes throughout all spring and summer. So at any point, if somebody's listening to this, unless they're watching it today, which I know you're going to release this pretty soon. So if it's not there right when you go to it, it will be there by March 11th. So bestseasonever.com, that's the best place to go. And I will also say this, if you text the code DIAMOND, Black Diamond, so Diamond, DIAMOND, to this phone number, it's 817-761-0077. I'll give it to you again. It's 817-761-0077. That's kind of like my hotline. It's a text messaging only thing so you can text in, tell me what you thought of this message. I'll make sure that I get your feedback back to Tyler too. Yeah, text me your thoughts on this podcast. Like what was meaningful to you? What stuck out to you? Because your feedback actually matters a lot. If there's something in here that really resonates, we take that message and we make sure it gets repeated in other places. So if you have questions, I want to know that too, if something didn't make sense, because it helps us be more clear the next time. I value the back and forth, like leadership is listening. And so just me coming out here and just talking doesn't really do much good. It matters the dialogue and the back and forth that happens afterwards. So bestseasonever.com, 817-761-0077, text Diamond, so I know you came from the show, and we'll go from there.
Awesome. I look forward to it. I'm going to make sure all this information is in the bottom. Part 4, this part is going to go out on March 11th. So
okay, perfect.
That's perfect. Go back and revisit each one of these parts. And really, I am going to challenge you. Each one of these parts, find a specific point in there that touched you, made you think, at least in some way. Leave a comment, some way, reach out and let me know what part that was, because we're going to take this, just like Jenn was saying, and we're going to try to mold this into a way that we're able to get this information out to someone that maybe don't have an opportunity to listen to it for whatever reason. So what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, let us know. Let us know how we're doing. I mean, that's how we learn. That's how we get better, right?
Absolutely.
So, Jen, it's been amazing. You know, I didn't know exactly how this thing was going to work out, how it was going to go. I know we had a roadmap, what we were going to do. And then, like you said, let's just let it go. Let it be organic. Let us have the conversation. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know I did. Jen, it's been an honor. I want to get together again, work on something in the future, whatever I've got to do. If I got to come out there where you're at, we'll figure something out. Well, we'll get together. Congratulations again on the family journey. Happy belated birthday. Well, it's the 18th. So it's been a while. But congratulations again on the marriage. You got a lot of excitement going on, and you know, you could be selfish and worry about what you got going on, but you're trying to do great things for everybody else. So we're all thankful for that. And I hope to talk to you again real soon.
Appreciate you so much. Good luck, Tyler.
Thank you. All right, so that's a wrap for part 4 and the series. Huge shout out to Jenn Starkey. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I want to thank you for doing what you do, not only for me, but for everybody else out there. We really, truly appreciate what you do. It's a lot of information in parts 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if you missed any of them, please go back, listen, watch them. Please leave us a comment. Tell us how we did. If you have any questions, concerns, anything, let us know. Email information, our website information, Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff is down below. Let us know. Talk to us. We're here for you. If you share this content with a friend, make sure you tell them you love them.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woo-hooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver? I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino-style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses. So don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18 plus.